Cheat code. Support Strategist. By Clouds. My head in the clouds, not coming down. On AO3. Chapter 3. Preparation. The final 10 months before the entrance exam flew by almost too quickly. One of the first things Izuku had done after finding his new dream was research everything he could find about analysis and intelligent gathering. He couldn't find that much, which he supposed shouldn't be very surprising considering that he hadn't even known it was a career option. But the things that he could find emphasized computer skills, making sure that his analysis was understandable to others. Izuku had worked nonstop to make sure he was ready for the entrance exams today. It was difficult since UA's website didn't say what exactly he'd be asked to do, but he wasn't about to let that stop him. He threw himself into support with passion, spending hours researching everything that heroes needed to know going into situations, and thinking about what he could do from behind the scenes to make it more efficient. His hero analysis notebook had improved as well. He's still labeling them for the future, but he was now trying to focus on suggestions for improvement and on increasing the speed of his analysis. Izuku had shifted the focus on his notebooks from just heroes to everything to do with quirks, and even battle strategy. He filled an entire notebook with analysis of villains he'd seen on the news, and another with random quirks that he found on the street. He also stopped talking about them at school so that his bullies wouldn't be tempted to destroy them like they did the other ones. School had surprisingly gotten a lot better for Izuku over the past few months. His bully hadn't stopped after the word spread that he wasn't trying for the hero course anymore, but now everyone was at a loss for how to actually hurt him. He hadn't told anyone at school about the support course since the high school application plans simply listed the school, not the emphasis. The teachers assumed he'd switch his goals to general studies from what Izuku could gather. The other students thought he was going for the nearest high school with a high school acceptance rate. As a result, no one could target his new dream, and all the insults fell flat. Even Kacchan had switched to mostly ignoring him or just calling him useless, which was a huge improvement. One of the best things that had come from his new dream, though, was actually his relationship with his mother. He hadn't realized just how much his old dream had come between them, but now that it was no longer in the way, they've grown so close. Her worries seemed less like she was trying to suffocate him, and more like it was just how she showed that she cared. When he sat her down to talk about his new dream, she had immediately started crying. Izuku could understand starting panicking, wondering what he had done wrong, but as soon as she calmed down enough to be coherent, Mom had assured him that she was just so happy and proud of him. He hadn't been quite sure how to feel about the fact that her first reaction to him giving up on his lifetime dream was to be happy that she cried. But there wasn't much he could do about it. Maybe if she just had believed in him earlier. Izuku shook his head as he finished getting ready to leave. It wouldn't do any good to worry about what ifs right now. Mom was just trying to keep him safe, so it made perfectly sense that she would be happy that he'd pick a safer option. She had been a little nervous about him still working in the hero industry, but after he assured her that he wouldn't actually be in fighting with anybody, she calmed down and actually been surprisingly supportive. He carefully placed his laptop in his bag and smiled. Mom had gotten it for him as a celebration gift after he explained what intelligence and analysis was, and it actually been her idea to sign him up for computer programming lessons at their local community center. He'd taken them like a duck to water, and it hadn't been long at all before he started learning to hack. Mom didn't necessarily like what he called hacking, since she thought it sounded dangerous or like something a villain would do, but Izuku pointed out that it would be really useful to gather information. He'd be protected behind a screen, and the only people he'd be hacking were villains, to make sure they couldn't hide anything from the heroes. She'd come around pretty quickly after that. The last thing he packed was a portfolio he created to demonstrate his quirk analysis. UA website had said that in addition to the same written exam the other courses took, the support course exam considered of a portfolio and a practice. Izuku had spent months debating what to do in his portfolio before Mom had suggested simply turning in one of his hero analysis notebooks. He didn't feel like those were quite good enough to turn into UA, though, so he decided to turn in a new analysis notebook that was actually properly formatted. He picked 5 heroes and 5 villains to highlight, since the website had said that he'd be analyzing both as part of UA, and he had his mom read through all of them just to make sure that they didn't sound like his normal muttering. When he'd first started asking her to read his analysis to make sure other people could understand them, she pointed out that he wrote almost completely in run on sentences and sometimes dropped words completely because his brain was moving faster than his hands could. He'd focus thence on editing his analysis into a comfortable whole and making them easier to understand. The heroes would eventually be working with needing to be able to read through and find what they needed after all. So there needed to be some sort of formatting, and he couldn't use a lot of technical gerunds, not that he'd ever had. He'd expected quite a bit and had even looked up how professional analysis formatted their essays for inspiration. Overall, Izuku was actually extremely proud of how professional his portfolio looked once he finished, and his mom hadn't even any trouble understanding it, so that was a huge plus. Mom swooped him into a hug, and almost as soon as he made it to the kitchen, "Oh, baby, do you have everything? Do you have your laptop? Will you need your laptop? It's best to just bring it, right? Even if you don't need it, or will that be weird? They won't see it as cheating, will they? Oh, if only." "Mom, take a deep breath." He pulled away from her and smiled. "I'll be fine. I already checked the website, and the support course applications are allowed to bring any technology they think they need. I don't know if they need my laptop, but I want to be able to demonstrate my hackings if they ask me to." Mom sighed in relief. "Oh, that's good. I'm just so worried. I know you'd be safe and but mother worries, you know." Izuku laughed. "I know, don't worry. The support course exam isn't like the hero course one, so I'm not gonna get hurt. Just be glad you're not Izuku laughed. "I know, don't worry. The support course exam isn't like the hero course one, so I'm not gonna get hurt. Just be glad you're not like Auntie Misu today. No matter what the hero course practice is, there's bound to be some aspects of combat included." Mom wrung her hands nervously. "Oh, I don't think I'd be able to handle it. I know Katsuki can handle himself in a fight, but I'm just so glad that you're not trying for the hero course. I'm not sure I'd be able to let you leave the house without having a heart attack." Izuku smiled sadly. His grief had long faded into a dull ache, and he'd hardly noticed it anymore most days. But his nervousness about the entrance exam would bring everything to the surface again. What if he'd made the wrong choice? What if he was meant to be a hero? What if he'd never really be satisfied with the support course? What if Kachan was right and he was just useless and he failed the entrance exam and ended up living under a bridge and "Stop that, Izuku." Mom hit him gently on the arm, smiling to pull him from his spiral. "I'm the one who's supposed to be worrying. You just leave that to me. You focus on doing your best. Okay, baby?" Izuku smiled and nodded in termination. "Thanks, Mom. I should get going. Wish me luck." "Good luck." Mom started sniffling as he put on his shoes, then started full-on crying as he waved her when he got down to the street. Izuku gripped the straps of his backpack and took a deep breath as he headed towards the train station. He could do this. I have a feeling that Principal Nezu is gonna take a liking to this one. I don't know, something about hacking. Something is telling me that Principal Nezu is gonna be like, that one. I picked that one. That one. Make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, and take your meds, and have a wonderful day or night. And thank you for watching.